Hi, welcome to Marlicia's Meanderings. I am Marlicia, also known as Marlicia Muses, and this is my first solo booktube, so we'll see how this goes. I am doing the Quick to Judge book tag, which apparently was created by Ali Rizdal. Ali Rizdal. If you see me looking to the side, I'm reading my notes here. It was brought to my attention by a video by CJ Rated Books, who is Charles. And Tahlia reminded me that I hadn't done this yet, so here I am. I apologize for the glare on my glasses. I'm not sure how to do anything about that, but let's get started. The prompts for this Quick to Judge book tag are as follows. Pick 5 to 10 unread books from your shelves. Okay, I think I did 8. Tahlia and I spent some time a couple days ago going through titles to see what we would like to do for this prompt. And I am going to steal one of her little suggestions in how she's numbering the books. I am using sticky notes as she did, and I will move the sticky notes around as I decide which order they will be in. And this will be kind of a combination book haul because I've been wanting to do that as well, and I don't know when I'll have time to do that. So I think I have 8. The second prompt is to read the first paragraph of every book, and then the third one is to rank the books based on the first paragraph, and that's what I was talking about with the sticky notes. I got a little bit ahead of myself there. Then you will add your highest rated book to your upcoming TBR. Okay, so I ask you to bear with me. The first book I'm looking at is kind of a tongue twister, and I'm not used to reading on camera, so I hope that I don't stumble too much. My first one is The Everlasting Man by G.K. Chesterton. Okay, and this is a new book for me, so it's part of my book haul. And let me see what I've got here. I'm actually starting with the editor's introduction. Sometimes I do read the introductions, especially in nonfiction, and this is a nonfiction book. Okay. Out of some dark forest, under some ancient dawn, there must come towards us, with lumbering yet dancing motions, one of the very queerest of the prehistoric creatures. We must see for the first time the strangely small head set on a neck not only longer but thicker than itself. As the face of a gargoyle is thrust out upon a gutter spout, the one disproportionate crest of hair running along the ridge of that heavy neck like a beard in the wrong place. The feet, each like a solid club of horn, alone amid the feet of so many cattle, so that the true fear is to be found in showing not the cloven but the uncloven hoof. Very important to get that order right. So, yes, so this kind of caught my attention. The imagery of a gargoyle and the juxtaposition of the cloven and uncloven hoof. So this may not be my first one. It seems like it might be a little bit of a heavy read, so this will probably not be my first, but definitely something I'm interested in. Okay, so that's this one, and I'll leave the tag on there for the moment. And you'll see that I have a variety, although not quite the variety that I would normally have because I didn't have everything on my shelf. Some of them were Kindles. This is book 2. It's The Man in the Iron Mask by Alexander Dumas. Okay. And I liked Dumas as a child, but of course that was illustrated classics that I read, so I'm not really sure about how this will compare to that in terms of content, explicitity, and things. Again, this is from the introduction. As early as the middle of the first chapter, it is clear that The Man in the Iron Mask is a very odd novel indeed. Within the first paragraph, we are shown a house that may be recognized as the same which has been besieged by D'Artagnan as elsewhere recorded. But where recorded? And who exactly is D'Artagnan? A couple of pages later, the mysterious Duchess is talking about the strange death of a Franciscan and a conversation in a cemetery. And if it then occurs to her, as it does, that we had scarcely told each other anything, prior to her referring familiarly to the character called Marie Michon, whose first and last appearance in the novel this is, but whose ghost has forgotten nothing, it similarly occurs to us that no one has told us anything at all. And frankly, what the devil is going on? The confusion in this makes me laugh because when I read this paragraph, I honestly had no idea what they were saying, which kind of piques my interest. I think that this one might still remain ahead of Everlasting Man, but I'm not sure how much ahead. So we'll leave that there. Put like so. This one I got off of I think a BookBub, what's it called? BookBub? I think it's BookBub. I forget. They recommend books. And it's called The Two Kingdoms by D.C. Moore, and I believe this is a fantasy. Sorry about the glare. I'm going to have to see about getting a different place to do this. This one I'm actually taking from the first paragraph. And actually, it's 2 paragraphs because the first paragraph is 1 sentence. The king is coming. The king is coming. An urgent clatter of horse hooves on cobblestones rose above the bustle of the weekly market in the crowded town square. The throng of sellers and bargain seekers hurried to part and make way, gathering into whispering knots among the market stalls as the breathless horseman reined in his frothing mount by the public fountain and shouted his message. This has promise. This is right up my alley. This one is going to move up to number 1. I think that this will be interesting. I like the imagery in it. So this one is moving up. Let's take this here and move these around so. My hands are shaking because I'm nervous about reading. So I appreciate you bearing with me. Okay. This one is another nonfiction book by Bishop Robert Barron. It's called Vibrant Paradoxes, the both and of Catholicism. I like that. Just the title kind of drags me in. What is meant by that? Let me see what we have here for an introduction. This is from the foreword. Any publisher will tell you that collections of short essays usually sell as well as thread, but this book will be a bestseller because these little gems are pearls. Yeah, that just very short and to the point. This intrigued me also. The idea of short essays being thread, but these essays being pearls on the thread. So just the idea of having a paradox, the both and of anything, is intriguing to me and definitely something I would like to read. Let me move this one up to number 2. Okay, moving right along. This book came along when this is another book haul. Actually, several of these are book hauls. This one came when I picked up G.K. Chesterton. It was a freebie. Who can say no to a freebie, right? Okay, so it's called Your Life is a Story, G.K. Chesterton and the Paradox of Freedom. Apparently, this is my time for wanting to read about paradoxes. This is also from a foreword by Dale Alquist. Okay, he's the president of the Society of G.K. Chesterton. Okay, the first paragraph reads as follows. For the past many years, I'd been waiting for someone like Brady Stiller to come along. And then, well, Brady Stiller came along. He turned out to be much better than whoever it was I thought I was waiting for. His resume far exceeds what I could have dreamed up. Notre Dame valedictorian, double major in biology and theology, senior thesis highlighting G.K. Chesterton, and valedictory address, I'm sorry, that word is difficult for me, valedictory address invoking Chesterton. Then he goes to England to immerse himself more deeply into the prophet who is without honor in his own country. And now he writes a book on Chesterton. One great mind meets another, and one young man makes the old things new again. Yeah, I'm interested in that. G.K. Chesterton can be a little bit difficult for people sometimes if they don't have some kind of guide for it. So between the first book I showed on G.K. Chesterton and this one, I'm hoping to get more of a handle on the man and his work. I like the way Dale Alquist wrote the foreword. It'll be interesting to see how Brady Stiller writes and what he has to say. So this one, I think, should it go before Chesterton? No, I think it should go, well, maybe it should go before Chesterton. Maybe it'll help me to have insight into Chesterton's book. Poor G.K. Chesterton's everlasting man gets pushed back ever further. All right. This book is on my shelf. It's not actually mine. It's actually Tahlia's. And Tahlia is Tahlia Nerds Out. I should have said that earlier. This is called Adventures in Yarn Farming. I may not have said, or those of you who haven't seen any of my other videos, either by myself or with Tahlia, we have a knitting and crocheting podcast, I Dye Yarn, so this is interesting to me. It might be interesting to other fiber artists in the group. And Tahlia has mentioned this in her booktubes. Okay. The first paragraph of this is, a lifelong passion for working with animals, being outdoors, and creating things by hand led me to our farm. I had no template for building a flock of sheep, no agricultural background, no business plan. I suppose you could say my original starter flock was a bit like knitting a test swatch without a pattern. I simply picked up the needles and cast on. Love that imagery, and I am really looking forward to reading this, not only because of the first paragraph, kind of a cheat because of what Tahlia has told me about it. There's a lot of good information in this about daily life on the farm. There are yarn dye recipes, all kinds of things in here, recipes. I think this will be a fabulous book. I'm looking forward to reading that, and I think it will go before The Man in the Iron Mask, which takes everything else down a peg. This is a little challenging to keep everything in order here. Let me see, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Only 2 more to go, guys. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is right up my alley. I love Agatha Christie. And this is The Amazing Miss Marple. Most of my Agatha Christie reading has been Poirot. A little bit of Tommy and Tuppence, but I have only done a couple of Miss Marple. And although this is a omnibus of sorts, I am focusing on the book, The Moving Finger. They are full novels in here, so I just wanted to have something to show you. And The Moving Finger, I'll find the front page here. It's actually, again, 2 paragraphs because the first one is only 1 sentence. I have often recalled the morning when the first of the anonymous letters came. It arrived at breakfast, and I turned it over in the idle way one does when time goes slowly, and every event must be spun out to its full extent. It was, I saw, a local letter with a typewritten address. I opened it before the 2 with London postmarks, since one of them was clearly a bill, and on the other I recognized the handwriting of one of my more tiresome cousins. So she recognized it as the handwriting of one of her more tiresome cousins. That just made me laugh. because sometimes I will do the same thing with phone calls or whatever. Avoid that for the time being. This is going to go right up to the top of my list. I really like I love Agatha Christie. I like the voice of this, and I think it will be fun. So this is going to take the #1 place. Actually, I'm going to move this later because I know this is going to take the 1 place. I'm just going to put a little 1 in the corner here, so I know that this is going to be #1 for the time being. And my last one, I'm not sure how to classify this. It's called Mrs. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I love the title. And apparently this is part of a series. Yeah, let's see here. I'm smiling because I already read the first paragraph and I like it. So, I had just come to accept that my life would be ordinary when extraordinary. Let me start it again. I had just come to accept that my life would be ordinary when extraordinary things began to happen. The first of these came as a terrible shock, and like anything that changes you forever, split my life into halves, before and after. Like many of the extraordinary things to come, it involved my grandfather, Abraham Portman. Yeah, this is the only one that could potentially knock Agatha Christie out of first place. This, I want to know what extraordinary things happened that knocked his ordinary life out of kilter and split his life into halves. I want to know. So I think I'm going to put this at #2 simply because I have so many things to read, and I only have this on hard copy, and I have Miss Marple on Kindle, so I will probably read her first and then do Miss Peregrine, because I have a bunch of books reading for Lent, and I don't have time to add too many others. So I'm going to put Miss Marple first. So I guess I'm supposed to recap this. Let me see if I can get this in some kind of order. My first one is going to be Miss Marple. My second one, Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. Which means my third one will be Vibrant Paradox. No, my third one will be Two Kingdoms. This is a fantasy. I'm sorry about the glare. And my fourth one will be Vibrant Paradoxes by Bishop Barron. My fifth one, where's my fifth one? Sorry about the scratching. I'm trying to keep these in some kind of order. Here's my fifth one. Will be Adventures in Yarn Farming. And that's by Barbara Parry, in case I didn't mention that before. Then The Man in the Iron Mask by Alexander Dumas, who needs no introduction for most people. Followed by Your Life is a Story, and this is by Brady Stiller. It's about G.K. Chesterton. And last but not least, G.K. Chesterton's Everlasting Man. Now, I put these in order with the caveat that it will change as my mood strikes, because I'm a mood-driven reader. I read what I feel like reading when I feel like reading it, because I have too many things in my life scheduled. So I will read what I like when I like it, and I will try to keep you up to date on what I think about those books. I don't know if I'm supposed to say who I tag here, but I'm going to do it anyway. I wanted to tag, and actually I'm going to have to get on to my computer a minute because I didn't update my tags. Let me see here. I want to tag, there it is, Bookzilix, who I think Tahlia tagged as well, user IZ6CC6LZZ3J, Vicky, and Mild Rumpus, and Kelly Reads a Lot, and BookBuds. I want to tag all of them. I'm sure, I don't know if I'm doing this right. It's my first time, so bear with me. And I think that's, and I want to thank Tahlia for tagging me in her video. And I want to thank Charles for bringing this to my attention. He's CG Rated Books. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I thank you for staying with me through it all. And I hope to see you again for my next booktube. God bless and have a great day. Oh, I should turn it off.